I love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
Hey, what's poppin', my homies? Hope you're doing well, feeling blessed, having a good day, having a good week. This UFC card's pretty good. We've got a fight night going down in Nashville, Tennessee. Before we get into the matchups, let's look at my bets from last weekend and also check a couple MoneyCity comments. Fine, guys, let's bring back the MoneyCity segment. We're gonna bring it back. Now, looking at my bets, which was a completely free lineup. It was completely free on the last card. The parlay was Denise and Topuria, which honestly felt like free money. I also had Jose Delgado. Wow. Most people were betting Hydra and Mill, and that was a public underdog. He got dusted in 26 seconds. And then I bet on Violent Obama against Glass Chin, the Joker, Jacka Manson, and that was a beautiful KO TKO. Super necessary with the follow-up. Super necessary. And I also bet on Josh Van, which was similar to Jose Delgado. It wasn't a popular bet, but hopefully Josh Van could start getting more respect, because someone in my comment section last week trying to tell me Josh Van can't fight, and I'm like, you must be a clown. You must be new to watching MMA, trying to tell me Josh Van can't fight. That guy's a phenomenal boxer with serious power, serious cardio, serious output, serious pressure. Josh Van, I've been saying it from day one, man. He is the truth. And my only losing bet was Felipe Lima. Massive credit to Peyton Talbot. The defensive wrestling that Peyton Talbot showed, so impressive. So my betting lineup on my last card was free, but my betting lineup on this card is just going to be for MoneyCity members over on the Patreon. If you see your name on the screen, you already know. That's money. Let's go. First matchup on the card, we've got Fatime Kline taking on Super Melly Melissa Martinez. Starting the breakdown with the massive favourite, Fatime Kline. Fatima's currently 1-1 inside the UFC. Her debut was extremely tough. She fought up a weight class against the gritty and tough Jasmine Jasdavicius. She lost that fight based on the physicality difference. It was mainly the physicality, with Jasmine being much bigger and much stronger. But after losing that UFC debut, she drops back down to her natural weight class and put an absolute beating on Victoria Dudakova. The way she dusted her up on the ground was absolutely diabolical. I think Fatime Kline is very well rounded. Nice technical kickboxing on the feet, solid wrestling and grappling. You saw against Dudakova, she's got some nasty ground and pound. Her opponent is Melissa Martinez, who's primarily a kickboxer and actually a very technical kickboxer. Beautiful kicks. She's got amazing kicks. And she's also got pretty nice footwork. But guys, the problem here is similar to what Fatime Kline experienced in her UFC debut. The problem here is physicality. We saw Elise Reed get those takedowns on Melissa Martinez. And if Elise Reed can get those takedowns, then Fatime Kline certainly can too. So I'm going to pick Fatime Kline to win this fight. She could stand and strike with Melissa Martinez. And if she was to do that, it would be a pretty technical kickboxing matchup. But I think the path of least resistance would be wrestle Martinez to the ground. From there, there's submission attacks, there's ground and pound, there's duration waiting to happen on the ground. So I'm going to pick Fatime Kline to win this fight, and I'm going to pick her to win inside the distance. Next matchup, we've got Mike Davis taking on Mitch Ramirez. Here's what I think about this matchup. On one side, you've got a fantastic mixed martial artist, a fighter that's proven himself in both the striking and the grappling, a fighter that's proven himself against very seasoned competition over the years, a fighter who's arguably past his prime, but still proven at the highest level of mixed martial arts. That's Mike Davis. On the flip side, you've got a fighter who hasn't proven himself at the highest level, a fighter who's arguably not UFC caliber, but still has the opportunity this weekend to prove the doubters wrong. That's Mitch Ramirez. Now, Mike Davis, unfortunately, has had a career plagued by injuries, which has led to bouts of inactivity. He's been in the UFC for 6 years and only had 6 fights. It's really unfortunate because Mike Davis truly is a beast. Now, Mitch Ramirez got absolutely dusted on the Contender Series. Granted, it's by Carlos Prates, which is Mini Pereira. And guys, if I'm being completely honest, I think even a past prime Mike Davis destroys Mitch Ramirez. Striking, grappling, wrestling, you name it. I think a past prime Mike Davis still shows there's levels to the game. Like I said, Mike Davis is proven. He's seasoned. He's UFC caliber. So unless Mike Davis is completely washed, I think he should dominate this fight. I think he should win this fight. I'm going to pick Mike Davis to win this fight. Next matchup, we've got Kennedy Nzechukwu taking on Valter Walker. And this is nice matchmaking by the UFC. Let's start the breakdown with Kennedy Nzechukwu, who's a former 205 and now competing at heavyweight. He's currently 2-0 at heavyweight, looking to extend that winning streak. His debut at heavyweight was against Chris Barnett, and Chris injured himself right before the fight, which made things pretty easy for Kennedy. But even if Chris didn't injure himself right before the fight, more than likely, Kennedy still wins that fight. Then he fought Lucas Bresky, and again, Lucas Bresky, not the best competition, but Kennedy still gets it done. He finds a beautiful two-punch combination, a left hook right hand, that sends Lucas crashing to the canvas. And I'd have to say, Kennedy's last two performances, they've been solid. And I say that because the Kennedy of the past has been so gun-shy. His coach is always screaming at him from the corner, always asking him to do more. But that's not something we've seen from heavyweight Kennedy. There's more purpose in his performances at the moment. I'm liking what I'm seeing from heavyweight Kennedy. But here's the thing, Valter Walker is the opponent. And we've got to be honest, Valter Walker is clearly a tougher challenge than both Chris Barnett and Lucas Bresky. And that's because Valter Walker is on a mad ting. He's on a mad ting, ripping the foot off his last two opponents. He's a heel hook specialist. And let me tell you something about the heel hook. It's one of the nastiest submission attacks you can attempt. It's so nasty. The heel hook destroys your ankle ligaments, and it also destroys your knee ligaments. So if your ankle doesn't go to Snap City, your knee does. And if your knee doesn't go to Snap City, then your ankle does. And worst case scenario, both your knee and your ankle at the same time visit the land of Snap City, and you don't want that. So that's what Valter Walker brings to the octagon this weekend. It's going to be the heel hook. If he gets Kennedy Nzechukwu to the ground, there's a real possibility we see another heel hook dustoration. But I'm actually going to pick Kennedy Nzechukwu. Like I said, I've been impressed with Kennedy at heavyweight. He's got power in the hands. He's got those stabbing teep kicks to the midsection. He's got more experience than Valter Walker, and he's certainly a better striker. So I'm going to pick Kennedy Nzechukwu to find a late KO TKO against a very dangerous rising heel hook specialist. Next matchup, we've got Lauren Murphy taking on Eduarda Moura. This is going to be veteran versus rookie. Lauren Murphy being the veteran, Eduarda Moura being the rookie. Now, Lauren Murphy hasn't fought in over 2 years, which is clearly a red flag. She's now 41 years old, and I believe this is going to be her retirement fight. So there's multiple red flags with Lauren Murphy. She's inactive, she's past her best, and likely already checked out. She's had a fairly decent career though. You know, she's competed against champions, former champions, such as Valentina Shevchenko, Miesha Tate, Jessica Andrade. She's had a decent UFC career, so credit to lucky Lauren Murphy. On the flip side, we've got Eduarda Moura, who's relatively inexperienced compared to Lauren Murphy. But Eduarda Moura is going to have hunger and determination on her side. She's got activity and freshness on her side. She's a decade younger than Lauren Murphy. So I'm going to expect Eduarda Moura to win this fight. That being said, Eduarda Moura's striking, it's really bad. And I also think her cardio is pretty questionable. You see that against Denise Gomez. I can't really see Lauren Murphy stopping the takedowns though. And I can't see her wrestling back to her feet. The process of making Moura tired involves defending takedowns or constantly building back to the feet, constantly wrestling back to the feet once you've been taken down. If you can't do either of those things, Moura isn't going to fatigue. She's not going to slow down, which means more than likely the ground control stays nice and strong for Eduarda Moura, and she potentially finds a stoppage on the canvas, especially in round one. Round one, Eduarda Moura, she's dangerous. So my prediction is going to be Eduarda Moura, the rookie against the veteran, to get it done. I think Eduarda Moura with a ground and pound stoppage or a submission, either in the first round or the first 2 minutes of the second round. If we go past the first 2 minutes of round two, then we're looking at a dominant decision win for the rookie. But I'm liking Eduarda Moura, the strong favourite, to get it done against the old-timer, lucky Lauren Murphy. Next matchup, we've got Jake Matthews taking on Chidi Bang Bang Njokuani. Man, what a competitive matchup we've got here. So Jake Matthews, he's been in the UFC for over a decade now. 11 years Jake Matthews has been competing at the highest level, and it still kind of feels that he's yet to deliver his best work. And some people may disagree. Some people may say Jake Matthews has already delivered his best work. Jake Matthews has won 10 of his last 15 fights, but never won more than 3 in a row in the UFC. And that's kind of what I mean by he's yet to deliver his best work. I believe Jake Matthews has the skill set and ability to win 5, 6, even 7 fights in a row. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's got excellent, tight, sharp boxing, an educated jab, fight-ending power in both hands. He's so experienced. He's so well-rounded. But at times, though, he's a little bit chinny. Remember that fight against Matt Semmelsberger? He got knocked down multiple times in that fight. Not a good look for Jake Matthews. But look at his recent performance against Francisco Prado. Everyone thought Prado was the power puncher in that fight. And to be fair, he was the puncher. But Jake was the boxer. You want to be the boxer, not the puncher. It takes more skill to be the boxer. Now the opponent, Chidi Bang Bang Njokuani, without a doubt, one of the best Thai boxers in the UFC. The Muay Thai striking of Chidi Bang Bang Njokuani is a thing of beauty. It's beautiful. Look at the elbows of Chidi. Look at the knees of Chidi. Look at the explosive power in his hands. Chidi Njokuani is a problem. In terms of who's the more violent striker, who's the more diverse striker, the answer is Chidi Njokuani. I kind of think Jake Matthews has to put on a wrestling and grappling performance if he's going to win this fight. If he thinks he's going to stand and bang, well, he's going to learn who Chidi Bang Bang really is. You feel what I'm saying? It's the kicks of Chidi. You try to close the distance, you get met by those sharp stabbing teep kicks. You get into the clinch, you get met with elbows and knees. You shoot a lazy takedown, you get absolutely dusted with a well-timed knee that will split you open. But I'm actually going to pick Jake Matthews to win this fight. I'm going to predict that Jake Matthews, armed with over a decade of UFC experience, is able to showcase his wrestling, able to showcase his grappling, and puts together a ground fighting performance that shuts down the beautiful Muay Thai of Chidi Njokuani. My prediction is the slight underdog, Jake Matthews. Next matchup, we've got Chris Action Man Curtis taking on Max Payne Griffin. An absolute banger. Now, Chris Curtis is stepping down 15 pounds to the 170 division, and that's an interesting move. It's very interesting because typically fighters in their mid to late 30s, they move up in weight, not down. But obviously, Chris Curtis can't go to light heavyweight. He'd be greatly undersized at 205. So he's decided, I'm going to step down a weight class. I'm going to go to welterweight. But I'm not entirely sold on this move though. I thought Curtis was pretty solid at middleweight. But let's see how it goes this weekend. He's a powerful puncher with excellent pressure, solid boxing technique, strong defensive wrestling. He's a veteran and he fights like one. On the flip side, we've got Max Griffin, also a veteran of the fight game. But I do feel that Max Griffin, he's a little bit washed now. He's a little bit washed. He's just shy of 40 years old. And his performance against Michael Chiesa was absolutely diabolical. And I bet on Michael Chiesa as a slight underdog. And it was basically free money. He ragdolled Max Griffin around the octagon like it was professional versus amateur. Now, Chris Curtis isn't known for coming into fights with a ragdoll game plan. He's not looking to wrestle the opponent. So guys, more than likely, we get a stand and bang type of fight. So if I'm thinking about a stand and bang type of matchup, then all day, I'm picking Chris Curtis to win the fight. Because losing to Max Griffin in 2025 would be absolutely diabolical. Next matchup, we've got Junior Tafa taking on Tuco Tacos. Or Tokkos, should I say. What is a Tuco Taco? What is that? So here's the thing with this fight. If both of these fighters give the fans in attendance what they really want to see, the fight heavily favours Junior Tafa. So what do the fans in Tennessee want to see? They want to see rock and sock and robots. They want wild stand and bang caveman type wars. They want to see fools hitting the canvas, sleeping before they've even hit the ground. They want to see real violence. They want to see that. Now, if that type of fight happens, more than likely, Tuco Tokkos goes night-night. More than likely, Tuco gets sent to another galaxy. More than likely, Tuco wakes up asking himself, what on earth is a Tuco taco? However, let's say Tuco says, nah, F all that. F all that. I'm not trying to get sent to another galaxy by this Australian madman. I'm going to wrestle. I'm going to get takedowns. I'm going to look to finish the fight on the ground. I'm going to put on that boring lay and pray performance that no one wants to see. No one wants to see that, but I'm going to do that. In that scenario, you're looking at a live underdog in Tuco Tokkos, just based on Junior Tafa not having a good ground game. His ground game is atrocious. So either the fans in attendance, they're going to get to see what they want to see, or Tuco Tokkos is going to ruin everyone's night for about 10 minutes. I'm actually going to pick Tuco Tokkos. I think if he goes for that takedown, he can win this fight. So I'm going to pick the underdog, Tuco Tokkos. What is a Tuco Tokko? I don't know. Next matchup, we've got Vitor Petrino taking on Austen Lane. We've got Vitor Petrino stepping up to heavyweight, and I kind of like the move. I kind of like it. I like the move up to heavyweight a lot more than I like Chris Curtis stepping down to welterweight. One clear benefit I see for Petrino moving up, he won't be at a footwork disadvantage. Notice how he was always so heavy at 205. He wasn't exactly floating around the octagon with butterfly-like movement. He's always been very heavy, very planted. And it's the same situation as Chris Curtis. He lost 2 in a row. He's moving up. And the same thing with Chris Curtis. I felt that Petrino was pretty good at 205. I thought he was good. He made a mistake against Anthony Smith. He done okay against Dustin Jacoby. But right at the end against Jacoby, he got caught. He got caught, man. My goodness. He got dusted. On the flip side, we've got Austen Lane, who in all fairness, just isn't that good. His chin's in the sky. His defense is pretty bad. And if your defense is bad, at least tuck your chin. Get that chin down. Because look at what Mario Pinto done to him. Bing, bang, bosh. Total obliteration, total annihilation of Adosa.
It means total obliteration of Adosa. Total annihilation.
I really can't see a way for Austen Lane to win this fight. I highly doubt he wins this fight. I'm going to take Vitor Petrino to find his chin, either round 1 or round 2. And honestly, guys, I think Austen Lane gets cut. After he gets dusted in this fight, he should get cut. Next matchup, we've got Nate the Train taking on Morgan Charriere, the last pirate versus the Train. Easily one of the best matchups on the card. Pure fireworks. Nate the Train, as we know, is a certified madman. He's super aggressive, super violent, always hunting for the finish. He is the definition of a certified madman. As for Morgan Charriere, he's going to the Lion's Den again. First he went to London to fight Nathaniel Wood, and that fight went terribly. He got rocked early in round 1 and never fully recovered. He was on autopilot for the whole of that fight past round 1. Just an awful performance as the away fighter. Now he's got to go fight Nate in Tennessee. And I respect the UFC for making this fight. I respect the UFC for making Morgan take this fight. It's like they're saying, look, we gave you a fight in London against a London fighter. You badly failed. We're not suddenly going to give you a layup now. No, we're going to put you in the Lion's Den again, Morgan Charriere. It's sink or swim in the UFC, Morgan Charriere. You think you're the last pirate? Well, the last pirate fell off the ship. Can you swim, Morgan Charriere? Can the last pirate swim? The UFC is truly sink or swim. I love it. Now, from a technical standpoint, I think Morgan Charriere is the sharper striker. He's got excellent body kicks, fast hands. He's technically sharper than Nate the Train, in my opinion. But can Morgan withstand the relentless pressure of Nate the Train? Say what you want about Nate, but you cannot say he's a quitter. You cannot say he lacks heart and determination. From the very first second to the last second of the fight, Nate is going to test Morgan. He's going to showcase toughness, grit. He's going to see if the last pirate can swim. And if he can't, it's because Nate the Train drowned him with that pressure. that relentless pressure. And having said all of that, guys, I'm actually going to pick Morgan Charriere to win this fight. It is a little bit tempting to pick and bet the underdog Nate Petrino, but I think Nate being 37 years old now, maybe the wheels are starting to fall off the train. Maybe the wheels are coming off, man. And I think this one's interesting because either the last pirate can't swim or the wheels are coming off. Which of those statements are true? We're going to find out this weekend in Nashville, Tennessee. My prediction is going to be Morgan Charriere. Next matchup, we've got Calvin Kattar taking on Steve Garcia. And just like the fight we just broke down, another absolute banger, pure fireworks between Calvin Kattar and Steve Garcia. Now, Calvin Kattar is known for wanting all the smoke. He'll stand and bang with just about anyone. That's a fact. However, guys, I believe Calvin Kattar's past his prime now. He's been through so many wars over the years. And let's not forget, his knee was badly injured back in 2022. This certainly isn't the best version of Calvin Kattar we're going to see this weekend in Nashville, Tennessee. But here's the thing. Steve Garcia is similar to Kattar. Steve Garcia wants all the smoke. Steve Garcia is going to stand in the middle of the octagon and trade boxing combinations with Calvin Kattar. I do think, even though Calvin Kattar has been dusted up quite a lot in his career, I do think he has better defense than Steve Garcia. He's got that high guard and arguably the sharper technique offensively. But guys, what if Steve Garcia just wrestles him to the ground? Wouldn't that be the path of least resistance for Steve Garcia? Remember that ground and pound stoppage that Steve Garcia got against Malky Costa? Now, if Steve Garcia gives the fans in Nashville what they want to see, which is a stand and bang rock'em sock'em robots type war, then it's entirely 50-50 and maybe a slight advantage, a slight lean towards the veteran Calvin Kattar. But I'm going to take Steve Garcia to fight smart. I think he could get a takedown in this fight, bring Calvin Kattar into the wrestling, bring him to the ground and dust him up on the ground, the same way he did against Malky Costa. My prediction is going to be Steve Garcia. Next matchup, we've got Stephen Wonderboy Thompson taking on Gabriel Bonfim, and man, what a test for Bonfim. Anytime the name Wonderboy lands on your desk, you know you're in for a real challenge. Even though Wonderboy's 42 years old, he's one of the best 42-year-old strikers you'll ever see. He's taken excellent care of himself throughout his career, and that's why he still performs like he's 32 at 42. His spinning wheel kicks are some of the best you'll ever see. He's just an unbelievable karate-style striker. He's unbelievable. However, guys, just like Calvin Kattar, it's not the best version of Wonderboy we're going to see this weekend. Don't get me wrong. He's still a great challenge for Gabriel Bonfim, but if this fight happened, say, 5 years ago, I'd be picking Wonderboy all day. Having said all of that, I just think Bonfim is too sharp right now. He's got excellent boxing and his submission game. His guillotine chokes are lethal. If he gets a trip takedown on Wonderboy, I wouldn't be shocked if he wraps him up like a blunt for a nice submission win. I know you can talk about Nicolas Dalby being a massive underdog against Gabriel Bonfim over in Brazil, and he defied the odds. You know, he won that fight. But Nicolas Dalby fought at such a high pace, something that Wonderboy doesn't really do. Wonderboy is very tactical. He always reads the opponent. And once you get him to the ground, he's not hustling at 100%. He's not fighting at such a high pace. So even though Wonderboy is a much better name than Nicolas Dalby, Wonderboy would still have to push the pace the same way Nicolas Dalby did to get Gabriel Bonfim tired. But I do believe fighting is a young man's game. And this is a 15-year age gap. Gabriel Bonfim is 15 years younger than Wonderboy. So I'm going to pick Gabriel Bonfim to win this fight. I think either submission or decision for the Brazilian. The pick is Gabriel Bonfim. The main event, we've got Derrick Lewis taking on Tallison Teixeira, veteran versus rookie. Guys, you don't need a deep breakdown to understand what this fight is. Either Derrick Lewis sends Tallison Teixeira to another galaxy, or Tallison Teixeira gets a stoppage win over Derrick Lewis. It could be a brutal stoppage, or it could also be a stoppage where Derrick Lewis just covers up because he doesn't want to get hit. Either way, it's going to end in round 1 or round 2. And there's also a 15-year age gap in this main event. We've got Derrick Lewis, who's 40 years old, against Tallison Teixeira, who's only 25. And Derrick Lewis is one of the most brutal knockout artists we've ever seen. When he finds your chin, you go night-night. But I'm going to pick the rookie, Tallison Teixeira, to win this main event. There's a difference in hunger. Derrick Lewis is a multi-millionaire who probably doesn't care about wins and losses at this stage. Whereas Tallison Teixeira isn't a millionaire. He's unproven. He's on the rise. He's chasing all of that good stuff. So I'm going to pick the fighter who's more determined, the fighter who's more locked in, the one who cares more about wins and losses. So I'm going to pick Tallison Teixeira to find a nice KO TKO in the first round. If it's not the first round, it should absolutely be the second round. If this fight goes past round 2, then I'd have to say the fight's underachieved. Someone should go night-night in the first 2 rounds. That's exactly how this main event should be. And I'm going to say it's Tallison Teixeira being the one who gets that KO TKO. That's my pick. Be sure to drop down your MoneyCity comments because we're going to bring back the MoneyCity segment. And for anyone who wants my bet tickets this weekend, the only way to do that is to grab a MoneyCity membership on the Patreon. The link is posted in the pinned comment below. Also, I've got 2 boxing bets this weekend. One on Netflix tomorrow, Friday night, and one on Saturday. Alright my homies, keep your eyes to the sky, never glued to your shoes. Peace.